Habari gani, karibuni. And I should say, today when I say habari gani, ndugu Oladele.
Say Nia.
Nia. Nia.
And Nia means purpose.
Yes.
Which means remembering and restoring African and African American cultures, customs, and history. So that's basically what we do. And it says reclaiming the narratives. So we're restoring African American history. And that's basically what we're doing. And that's what our platform is all about.
Yes,
it's good to be here. Good to be on Kumbukeni.
You living in the spirit of Ubuntu, connecting with your brothers and sisters in the US.
Oh yeah. We have to. We're one of the same, man.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Indeed. Good job on that one. I'm so proud of you for that one. Good job.
Yeah. I even though I was rushing here, but I had it in my head because I had it written down somewhere, man.
Oh, that's too funny. As you can all hear, I sound lovely today. I have that crack in my voice, you know. We're going to be doing the blues today. But yes, I am recovering from a cold, so I will be coughing, and this is life. But excuse me for that. The day is near. We are standing on purpose today. And it would be a nice day to close. Those of you in the chat, for those of you who are joining us today, let us know what is your purpose, right? Yeah. What is your purpose if you want to share?
That's a good one.
And we can talk about what our purpose is collectively as we walk away. I happen to think unity should be the thing that we focus on
Number
in 2025, right? That should be our purpose collectively. But let's hear your thoughts in the chat. So today, those of us who are celebrating Kwanzaa, and it should be all of us now, it should be a global WanaUbuntu celebration. You say when you meet your brother or your sister, habari gani, and they say to you, they say the name of the principle of the day. So Nia, you just respond Nia because today is Nia. So habari gani, let's see in the chat. Let's see, I'm saying to you all. So
Nia.
Let's see the response in the chat. Habari gani. I'll give you a minute. Y'all are some fake WanaUbuntu. I'm not seeing no responses in the chat. Habari gani, y'all? Let's see. Nia. We're supposed to be building community. Community works together. Habari gani in the chat. Yes, Tyrell. Yes.
Brilliant.
Let's show. Yes, super lady. Thank you. Come on. Habari gani. Those are 3 letters. Get on your phones. You all are busy typing messages, long messages, telling us all kinds of preaching stuff. Habari gani. Let's see it. Yes, Runya, Paul, asante, habari gani. Come on. All right, so Nia, purpose. And then center yourself and think about what your purpose is today and start submitting. But I believe, and I'm glad my brother agrees with me, our purpose for 2025 should be unity, and we can talk about that. So like a friend of mine says, we're going to chop it up today. We're just going to talk about 2024.
Yep.
Whatever we want to talk about, right? The struggles.
Yeah. Whatever comes in, we just throw it out there.
The frustrations.
The
lessons. The joys. And then we are going to talk about what the way forward is in 2025. And this is us following the Western calendar, but we know our year started in September. But because this is what we are officially, most of us observing, we're going to provide some guidance and as much as we can be in the spirit of Africanness. So the name is Nduku, clearly seen there. I don't even know why I need to say it, but the name is Nduku. I am the host on Kumbukeni. My brother, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Oladedo. I'm the co-founder of Emerging at Capitalism. And as you always follow us, those who follow, obviously you see myself and Nduku together. We're about decolonizing the minds and awakening our consciences. And our purpose here is basically to awaken those Africans who still believe in the shackles of the colonizers. We are more than that. We are more than that, guys. So we can't use their death economy to manifest ourselves. It's impossible. So that's basically why we're here.
Yes, and and before we start, so I was thinking, who am I gonna sit with today? Like, who am I going to sit with? And I said, let me call my brother. Let me have my brother join me today. And then our big sister, Mama Kanyisile, unfortunately, they had some loss in the family this morning. So please, everyone, send them your love and prayers and comfort. So she could not join us. Her daughter as well was going to join us in Shango. You will all get to meet them. Great sisters. So you'll all get to meet them. And most of you have met Mama Kanyisile if you follow Kenny. So put Mama Kanyisile in your thoughts today as we continue with our day. Yes. So a few more announcements. I want to say, and I'll let my brother say as well, because I'm sure he feels the same way. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all who have supported us. Thank you to the guests who immediately responded with yeses. Thank you to the guests who took a little bit longer to respond. Thank you to the guests who didn't show up but said they would show up in this coming year. Thank you to the guests who didn't show up and allowed us to have a conversation that our ancestors guided us to have. Thank you. We do not have the resources to compensate our guests, but they still show up, and they still show up 100%, despite not being compensated. And we hope that we will get to the point where we compensate. I was going to say this, Oladele, because I'm someone who shares without, because I share so that I can inspire others to do the same thing, because this is what we want to do, make this the norm. So when we get to the point where we can compensate our guests, we will compensate only WanaUbuntu guests. We will not compensate white guests. For the white guests, you will be coming on because you're repairing the harm. It will be your contribution to our community because of what your ancestors have done. So that will be the Kumbukeni policy. WanaUbuntu guests will be compensated when we can, when we get to the point where we can. And the others, you will just have to be grateful that we've given you an opportunity to market whatever it is that you do and your names. And repair by sharing without being compensated. Brother Oladile, what are your thoughts on that?
I cannot argue with you, sis, because you guys know, we deliberately do not bring Caucasians on our platforms anyway, because we believe that we're more than capable of telling our own stories and we share our own narratives. So if they come on, they only come on to basically tell us exactly what most of us Africans who are messed up in the mind don't want to hear. That's why we bring them up. So you can hear from the horses, but you can hear from the Caucasian perspective. Because sometimes when we're telling you the truth, you don't want to hear us because you think, oh yeah, we're not worthy of the truth. But we can share our own stories. As history tells us, if you look in the past, everything that they told us thus far, it's been a lie. And it's taken us away from who we are as WanaUbuntu. So yeah, I agree with Nduku. We share our own stories. We bring people who have knowledge. There's so much knowledge in the Kebelan, in the diaspora. People who have written books, we bring them on. Let's share our own stories, and that's basically all we're about. Kumbukeni is reclaiming the narratives. Imagine a Kebelan awakening series about decolonizing the mind. So what we're doing, basically more or less doing the same thing. So yeah, I agree. So when we bring the white people on, they repair the damage.
Yeah.
And tell those coconuts who don't want to hear from their own people. So yeah.
Yesterday, actually, I saw the proverb, I think it's a Yoruba proverb, about people who swallow coconuts and taking a risk on their backsides.
Yep.
That's a pretty funny proverb. So let's talk about this. Let's start with the state of Africa. Let's start with that. Why don't we start with that, Oladile? Currently, the state of Africa. And I'm going to land on Kenya because I want to put her, because number one, I believe she is actually, given her proximity geographically, how close she is to Congo and the center of who we are as a people, she's a very essential part of us. And she's in a very important position where we should protect her from what is going on currently, which is the Americanization of Kenya, and a capture of a very, what's it called when you have a geographical location that is advantageous to you. You all get what I'm trying to say. The West,
basically, it's logistically.
Thank you. Yes. So we need to, all of us, pay attention to what is happening in Kenya, and not only pay attention to it, but support the revolutionaries who are rising up against the imperialist and neocolonial entities there. So currently, Kenyans Kenyans have been doing the work. Kenyans are learning. Kenyans are awakening, and they're realizing that this system is a messed up system. They're learning about imperialism. They're learning about history. They're learning about who we truly are, and they're realizing that things are not the way they've been told they are, and so they've been rising up. They've been very outspoken on Twitter. They have spaces on Twitter, and because of it, the government has been, because this is a government, the African governments get away with this type of behavior, right? Have been abducting and in some cases killing Kenyans. In a lot of cases, killing Kenyans because they are speaking up against neocolonialism and imperialism. I will say, today there was a protest in Kenya, just letting everyone know. There was a huge protest in Kenya. I haven't yet reached out to my contacts to see how it went. I am one who does not support protests, so I do not participate. I have my reasons, which I will explain in a little bit. But there was one, and we stood in support of our brothers and sisters because they needed to do this. A lot of people have been abducted in the last week. And so they needed to go out and put some pressure on the government so that our brothers and sisters can be released. And you know what? Let me say that. As much as I say I don't support protests, that's one advantage of protests. When the Kenyans go out in the streets and put pressure on the government, when you all rise up on Twitter and put pressure on the government, when we put that global, as fake as it is, pressure on the government, the brothers and sisters get released, right? These people cannot get away with the crimes that they commit behind closed doors or behind the attention of the international community, I guess. My brother, you want to speak on Kenya? We're going to speak some more about it, but what are your thoughts on Kenya?
Okay, my thoughts, because basically there's 4 countries that are very important strategically to the hegemonic powers. That's Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. Those 4 countries. Once they catch with those countries, they know they've basically got the tentacle already. They have the tentacles in Africa already anyway. But strategically, those countries are important. So as you can see, what's happening in Kenya, the tech, the food, basically the economics is being controlled. They're putting so much pressure on Ruto to basically make sure he basically follows all the policies. You know, to the extent that you guys have heard Nduku talk about this on Kumbukeni, where Bill Gates, as a free pass to get away with any atrocities in Kenya. You know, why would they allow that to happen? Yeah. So, and the same thing is happening now in Nigeria. Our own president, what's his name? The sleeperhead, Tinubu. Yeah, Tinubu. He's basically a CIA person of interest. When they say a CIA person of interest, obviously they got dirt on him.
Yeah.
And the fact that they got dirt on him, and this is how politics works. Once they've got dirt on you, they're going to use you to do the dirty work. So he's one of those guys now who's there, in terms of the ECOWAS, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. They're infiltrating these countries through Nigeria. They're using him. In terms of the GMOC, we talked about GMO. In July or August this year in Nigeria, GMO sees they passed policies to start allowing GMO maize in Nigeria. So what's happening in Kenya, that's been going on for a while, now it's happening in Nigeria. Just recently, I saw Bill Gates in Nigeria, on center stage, talking about how they're going to help the health system, like he's a doctor. Okay, that's another infiltration in Nigeria through Bill Gates. The agriculture is being captured. Security-wise, you got the Boko Haram things going on there. Instability. Uranium is being siphoned out. So they've got all these countries basically doing the bidding. And as Nduku is saying, as Africans, what we need to understand is these things are done deliberately. They are deliberately done to basically get us so that we can never get out. And thankfully, I thank the Kenya's brothers and sisters for doing what they're doing, because it puts a focal point for people to know what's going on. In Nigeria, we try to do it, but Nigerians are too scared to protest now because they feel like if they go out, they're going to get killed. So Nigerians don't want to do it. But Kenyans have shown the way. I know we had our brother Showore talk about this the other day, that, what, Kenya is basically doing what they need to do. But it's not just about protest. We need to do more than protest. Protests are going to get us so far, But how do we change policies? How do we change the education? How do we change back to our own African spirituality? How do we go back to our own food? How do we protect our own security, our education? All these things are things that we need to do. And this is one of the reasons why we are here doing what we're doing. That this battle is so deep. The infiltration is so deep because they got us so it's like they got on the collar. They won't let go. And we're trying to force ourselves off. And because some of us are so convenient and comfortable in the system, we kind of just let it go. Mm-hmm. And we cannot let go because, guys, I'll say this is survival for Africans. Mm-hmm. Last year, I'll say, was a year of kind of awakening because people are waking up. Unduku said this is a year of unity. 2025 should be a year of unity. Let's unite to do the work. And it's going to cost a lot. Guys, it's going to cost us. If you want to do this revolutionary work, it's going to cost us something. If you think you're going to free yourself and not cost you nothing, you're not ready to change yet. So it's going to cost some of us in so many things, but we need to do it. This work needs to be done. So, like I said, Egypt, they've got Egypt. Kenya, they more or less got. Nigeria, they're on their way. South Africa's already, they got. And once they got these 4 countries, they're just basically going all the way in. And guys, we need to push back. And this is why we do what we do. We Africans, we've been down this road, colonialism, 400 or 500 years through the transatlantic slave trade, this trans-Saharan slave trade. We've had it so many ways. But guys, we're still standing. That means we, our Kevlan people, are here for a reason. They're trying to dim our lights, but they can't. They're trying so hard, but we're still standing. And we are the beacon of the... I wrote something this morning. And what I wrote this morning was, it's the phoenix needs to rise. To save the earth. They're trying to push us down. But if Africa rises, basically, you see the demonic cloud that's hovering over the earth. Once the Kevlan rises, as the phoenix rises, the cloud will clear. And there will be liberty, not just for Africans, for the whole world. So
yes. Go on, brother.
Yeah, so this is basically what we as Africans need to do. This is what we need to do, guys. We have a lot of work to do, but like I said, it's not a comfortable work. If you're not ready to be ruffled, if you're not ready to be shouted out, if you're not ready to, me and Nunuku, we got thick skin now because I don't particularly care what people say anymore. I've got to that stage where it just flies over my head. I don't particularly care because I see what I see, and not everybody can understand what we're saying and what we're saying. But it takes you to get to a particular level of consciousness that you can see whatever they play. You can see 1,000 miles away. You can see what's coming. Yeah. I've got to that stage now where I can see what's coming. Because you've gone deep into the enemy's camp and you've studied them so well that whatever comes from them is basically death and destruction. Yeah. They don't know any other way. Whatever way the guys, they put policies and systems and laws in place and it makes it look legal, but it's just legal to back up the crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once you understand that these people are not about anything good, then you know how to deal with them. But if you're still hoping that you're appealing to the good nature, how can you even appeal to the good nature of people who have done untold?
They have no good nature.
They haven't got it. All they know is destroying. If it comes to wars, it's them. If you look at the history, they were cannibals. They were killing themselves before they even came to Africa. Basically, the reason they came to Africa, they had nothing left in Europe. So they were basically looking for food. That's how they came up. That's how they start moving all over the place looking. And the church started sending them on missions to find food. That's how they came to Africa. So you don't expect those kind of people to change. They will never change. And all those white, my WanaUbuntu people who still believe that these people are human, I'm sorry to say that I call them Neanderthals. They're soulless people. I'm sorry to say. I'm not even sorry to say what I'm saying. It is what it is, man. I'm unapologetic about what I'm saying. But we Africans just need to wake up. Once you understand this, you know how to deal with them. But if you're still thinking they're going to save you, they're never going to save you because everything they've done so far till today is holding us back. Only we, Africans, in unity, can save ourselves.
I was going to say for the white people who are listening, who are feeling a certain way because of what is being said, I'm glad you're feeling that way because at least now you can empathize with how we have felt for a long time for being called whatever it is that we have been called for years, right? At least now you can sit in a place of humanity and be like, oh, this is how it feels for Black people to be told they are stupid. They need to pick themselves by their bootstraps. They're lazy as a group, right? That we are thieves, that we are violent. This is how it feels. So instead of you dwelling on how you're feeling, use that moment to relate to how we have felt for so many years, for too long, because of what your ancestors and a lot of you currently are pushing as far as the propaganda against who we are. I was going to say, as we speak about whiteness and white supremacy and white people, we're talking about how they move as a group, right? We do understand 100% there are white people who are grounded on humanity, but we understand, and it takes back to Malcolm, right? And Muhammad Ali in one of the popular interviews where he's being asked, he talks about like he doesn't have the time to figure out which white person is nice because he's asked like, are all white people bad, right? And he says it's like snakes. You have snakes coming at you. You're not about to stand and start figuring out which one is poisonous and which one is not. You're going to be hitting snake heads, right? Because you don't have time to figure out which one is poisonous or not. And it's the same thing. When you have a mass of white people moving against Black people, you have no time really to start talking about which ones are good, which ones are bad, right? You have all you can see is a mass of white people moving against you. So when you start moving, you're moving against them as a people. So, oh goodness. There is, as I get reminded also, we're going to be all over the place, but stay with us. Today is a day to actually pay attention. As Oladele is talking about unity, and as we celebrate Kwanzaa, yesterday we were celebrating Ujamaa, and I had the fortune of attending a UNIA gathering, Kwanzaa gathering. UNIA is the organization that Marcus Garvey started in 1914. And we're going to talk about Marcus Garvey because a friend mentioned that he doesn't get the attention he should get as far as his role in our movement and moving things forward. And he had, like, when you hear about Marcus Garvey and what he achieved,
is the pioneer basically. People like Kwame Nkrumah and all the lot learned from this man. Kwame Nkrumah actually went to learn from Marcus Garvey. He basically, when he studied in the US, he basically took what he learned from Marcus Garvey to Africa. That's how he started the Pan-African movement.
And a lot of African flags, that red, black, RBG, red, black, and green, is coming from Marcus Garvey. So any African today who hears us speaking today, go and look up Marcus Garvey. But we will do you the service because we're here to serve community, to do the research and have a session on Marcus Garvey that is deserving. And hopefully we will be joined by his son because that is the plan. And I will reach out to him and he can join us for that. Oladele, it should be one of our collaborations.
Yeah, I think we should do it. We should do it. Yeah, we should do it. I think it's important. Because history, like James Small says, history will erase the mystery. So that's basically a little bit of the jigsaw puzzle that people are missing because we're talking about Pan-Africanism and people don't know the genesis of it. You know, we see all these like the Henry Clarks and all those people, but Marcus Garvey was basically the instigator, the pioneer that basically give the catalyze the others to actually do the work.
Yeah.
So that's basically where they got it all from. So I agree.
And he had to be stopped and just a little history. But before I get to the little history about him, at the UNIA event yesterday, I said to my friend, like, I just feel a sense of community that is just amazing. We get there. I guess part of it is also because of how we address, they know we are one of them. And people are showing us where to go. People are saying hello. You get there, you're being guided to the seats. It's family. You see children. At one point, there was a child who was sleeping. The parent put them in a car seat right there. The parent walked away, and you realize that is a parent who knows they're in a safe space, in a safe community. That is huge. Wow. To be able to walk away from your child and know that your community has got them, they're safe. That is huge. And we need to push for that to happen more within our communities, right? We should have that sense of security when we are amongst each other and trust. So I want to applaud the UNIA the United, again, I was going to say Universal Negro Improvement Association. The Universal Negro Improvement Association. I want to applaud you for holding down that communal spirit, for holding down the collective economics, because you're all a good. And as I say that, I want to talk about a grocery store that they have in Queens, New York, for those of you, and I put it in the chat and it's up right now. For those of you in the Queens, New York, or near the Queens, New York area, or in the New Jersey, Northeast area, I urge you, go to this store, purchase. They had a slogan yesterday: buy black or put it back. Buy black or put it back.
I love that.
Buy black or put it back. So unless you cannot, buy black and put it back. And now we are having more and more and more black stores. And to go even further, one of the speakers, the main speaker at the event, said, and don't buy if the place is not giving back to the community. I don't care whether it's black or not. Even if it's black, if they're not giving back to the community, don't buy. That's another thing. So on top of buy black or put it back, don't even buy if that organization, if that vendor is not giving back to the community. This is the new year. So this is our purpose, right? We have to move with purpose. But the store is FACA. I haven't looked up yet what it stands for. FACA-ROC2. Let me see quickly if I can get that. But I did put the link there, and I think it explains. Yes, the Federation of African, Caribbean, and American Restaurant Owners Corp, ROC. So please go ahead and look them up. I did put the link in the chat. The link is up now on the screen. I am in New Jersey. I said there's no reason why once a week or at least once a month we shouldn't go there to purchase groceries from New Jersey. Catch a train, go there, buy some stuff, and support them. There's no reason why I shouldn't do that from New Jersey.
Building community.
Yes.
It's basically building a community, and we need to be empowered economically. And this is how we start. Yeah.
There are things that I get once or twice a month, like honey, right? I go through my honey first, so I get it more because I put it on everything. I don't do sugar anymore. So something like that, I can go there to get it. This is what we're talking about. Like, let's support this store for those of us who are in the area or around the area. And the other thing I was going to say as we continue to talk, because I'm going to forget and I'm not good at promoting myself, is Nsi Ya Ubuntu. Our community just released our first book. It is on Kwanzaa. It is in Ubuntu. Thank you, my brother. It is in Ubuntu in Swahili. So this is for those on the continent, and it is $19.99, and I get it for the continent. That's a high price. So we are doing a Kindle. I'm still in the process of finishing up that process. It's going to be available at $9.99. So you can get the Kindle version. But I will
all my books are on Kindle, man. So yeah.
We will figure out how to get it to the continent. So the more support we get from the diaspora, the more funds we have to provide it free of charge to the continent, right?
Yeah.
The more freedom we have to donate it to schools in the continent. So if you see this as a worthy cause, we do see it as a worthy cause. But if you join us in seeing it as a worthy cause, support so that we can send the books. And if you want to buy the books intentionally for that, like if you know a school, you want to buy 100 books for them, reach out to us, right? Go ahead and do that, because you can do that so that those books can get on the continent. The point is for us to share with those who speak Swahili about Kwanzaa so that we can spread it on the continent, but also spread the use of the language. And I put the link for that as well. I will put it up on the screen there. The book is Kwanzaa Kuishi Tukielekezwa na Nguzo Asa. Notice I did not say Nguzo Saba, because Nsi Ya Ubuntu is cleaning the infection of Arabic in Kiswahili, in Ubuntu, because the Arabs did not come to our continent as friends. They came as enemies. They killed our ancestors. They invaded. They took over. They colonized, and they took over governorship. That they did not come as friend. The language Arabic does not come to our continent in a friendly way. And therefore, we are saying that the infection, and we're calling it an infection, it had on our language of unity. We're going to take it away. And to emphasize on unity, we're going to bring in words from other African languages that are not represented currently in our language of unity, Ubuntu. And one word One such word is asa, A-S-A-A. It's a Twi word that means 7, replacing the word saba. And in the book that we just released, at the back, the new words that we've used, we have a glossary that explains what they mean and what African language we've taken them from. So support the effort. This is our beginning, and we'll continue. And as I speak about a book, Mama Kanyisile was supposed to join us today. We were going to speak on her book. For those of you who supported so far, do not lose hope. We have not forgotten. It is just that it's challenging to publish a book with little resources. We have made the decision to go with Amazon. It's a decision we made because we need the book out. So it's not the best choice, but it's the choice right now. So I need to help Mama Kanyisile put it in the right format, because with Amazon, with the experience I had with the book that we just released, in order to get it in a font that you want, you need to put it in PDF form before you upload it on Amazon. Otherwise, the font changes. Amazon changes the font. You don't get to choose your font. So in order to get the font that you choose, if you're self-publishing on Amazon, change whatever you have into PDF and then upload it if you're doing like paperback. And so now I and others need to come together and put the book that is very many pages into PDF and make sure the format is right and it's looking good for all of you to get it. So give us a few months to get that done. And as we, like Mama Kanyisile is also doing other things, I'm doing other things. So just be patient with us and know that we are not going to let you down on this. We will live up to our word. So Brother Oladele, what else? I've been talking for too long.
Yeah, obviously we're trying to break down what's gone, what's happened, what's the solutions. For me, for this year, it's been a learning curve. Obviously going through the journey, having all the guest speakers come on, and every speaker we get on to talk, we basically learn from every single one of them, you know, from transformational thinking to African history, to health, to education. Basically, we've gone through so many topics, and these are the key. We basically touch on these topics because they are key to how we see ourselves and how we free ourselves. You know, so it's very important, you know, as we bring these guests, we're not bringing them for the sake of bringing them on. We're basically bringing them to speak to us. We basically understand why we are where we are and where we need to get to. And that's the key to what we're doing, you know, because, you know, people talking and saying all sorts of things, you know, when we share our own story and we Africans share our own stories, it hits home. Because sometimes when me and Nduku sits down there and we after a show, we'd sit back and say, wow, you know, that was deep. But it takes you to a particular level of understanding, even though you might know certain things. But the more you're in community, like when she like to say the word in community with our brothers and sisters, you know, sometimes we're thinking, wow, you know, you feel elevated, you feel you know, your spirit lifts, and you know to yourself that, you know what, when we're talking about purpose, we are doing what we're supposed to do, because basically you can see the essence of what you're doing, because it's information, and information is very, very vital. The reason why a lot of Africans are where we are with today is because we don't know our history. We don't know where we came from. Basically, they've distorted everything about us. Everything has been distorted. Everything they taught you, that is African, it's been taken away from you. So me and my wife were talking about this a couple of days ago. And I think, you know, the generation that's coming don't know African history at all. So if you want them to relate, how can they relate when they don't see the Caucasian as an enemy? They don't, because the history, all the atrocities they've committed has been taken out of history. So they share the positive narrative of the Caucasians in Africa, and then they share the negative to you. And Nduku's slogan is reclaiming the narratives. I'm talking about decolonizing the minds. Basically, what we're doing is reclaiming the narratives and basically sharing the stories for us to know that we are more than they think we are. We're more than capable. And the more of our history we share, the more empowered we become. Then it gets into our brain to know that we're more than capable. Because for me, there's nothing we can do as Black people. We are our Kebalan, mother of mankind. We were here before any other. Civilization, we're talking about civilization. Civilization is African. What the white people gave to you is not civilization. It's basically they plagiarized, they copied everything. And they put a spin on it because they're very good at repackaging and marketing stuff. They're very good at that. The reason why we as Capitalists kind of don't get it is because we not there to monetize nothing. We just use what we needed, and we were comfortable with that. But with the eagle eyes of the Caucasians, all they see is greed. They see greed. How can we make money? How can we make? And in order for them to make the money, they haven't got the things to make the money, so they have to go to other places to get the raw materials to basically keep making money. And like John Perkins said, it's a death economy that decimates everything. So what we're doing is basically making people realize that it's not that I don't want to keep bashing Caucasian people, but I'll say what I said because we are where we are, and none of us are blind. Even though you don't know history, if you look at everything that's going on in the world today, all the wars and everything that's happening today, they're behind it. They instigate all these things. The industrial war complex, they basically create everything so that they can basically distract and extract. That's all they do: distract, kill, and extract. Take. That's all they keep doing. So we Africans need to decolonize our minds and never ever look at them for solutions. We are more than capable. We can basically look at the diaspora alone, the kind of experience and the wealth of education that we have. If we can all bring that back in collaboration, in unity to Africa, and then collaborate with the African brothers and sisters, you know how powerful we are. And that's one of the other things that they're doing. They're basically telling the African Americans that, in the propaganda, that Africa is a shithole, excuse my language. So a lot of our brothers in the diaspora don't want to come to Africa because of the propaganda that the stupid people are, instigating or teaching them. And then we Africans go from Africa to the diaspora constipated because obviously things are not working. Yeah, because every African that goes to the West goes because of you're looking for something in economical migrant. That's why you go to the West for a better life. That's why let's be honest, that's why you go there, because Africa's not working for you. But Africa should be working for us if we then learn how to build the Africa that we want. But why we're not, what the challenge we're facing as people is we think we need to build things in the Western way for us to be able to manifest ourselves, for us to be able to actually fulfill our destiny in this world. But no, the more you go into the Western system, the more you run away from you're getting away from yourself. You basically, the more you depress, the more you struggle, because you're trying to match up to a kind of expectation that not everybody can get into. It's impossible. You're looking at people up there. I've said this before. The people at the top, about 5%. Only a few people are going to get up to the top there. Then you have loads of people trying to get up to the hierarchy. How is it possible? The African way, which we had, was the Ubuntu way, the communal empowerment where nobody lacked nothing. That's the Ubuntu way. That's the African way. We need to build empowerment, collective empowerment, where everybody is elevated, everybody's empowered. When there's no lack, then we have no problems. The fact that there's so much lack in Africa today, or the world today, is because of the economy system that we're following, that creates the hierarchy where people are aspiring to get to where they can never get to. And the fact that you can't get there, then you have depression, you have all these diseases and everything that basically brings you down.
And the hijacking. And the hijacking of our resources, right?
Yes.
The plenty that we have on our continent, because there's plenty, is being taken by multinationals.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
And all those things, it's basically, it's instigated. This is deliberate. But we Africans just can't get ourselves to accept that. Sometimes I see chats when people are challenging me on things online. I'm thinking, sometimes I don't even bother answering because they're coconut stupid. Because they're just so intoxicated thinking that everything white is good, that they can never see the faults, the flaws in the system. But once you get to a particular consciousness level, you understand, you can see, like I said, you can see from afar. So guys, this year for me has basically helped understand a lot more. It's built me up, and I feel like, whatever we're doing together, we're on the right path. And as we do this, other opportunities arise. Then you see, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Obviously, you can't do everything at once, but you put it on you put it on the back burner. You know what? We're going to get to that. We're talking about one of the projects that we're building right now is basically we're going into agriculture. That's a key, because if we don't feed ourselves, then we're lost. Basically, that's the last thing that we need to protect: our agriculture, our agribusiness. We need to protect that. It's been infiltrated. We got the GMO seeds coming in. Rutendo obviously was in Kenya, was in Nigeria recently. He sent me videos about what's going on in Nigeria. It basically the video about what's happening in the north and how they've used chemicals to mess up the crops. So they've messed up. Even I've personally have seen this, personally, where I had to go to a land in Nigeria and I saw the brother, using chemicals to kill weeds. I got angry with them. I think, what the heck are you doing? But they don't know any better. Well, so these are the things that are going on in Africa today. But what we're trying to say is, we are trying to be the solution. And that's basically why we do what we do. As we do, we think, there's things we can do on the side. So what we've got coming up, and we'll put this out there, is we got a seed bank that we want to build. We want to preserve African seeds. This happened as we having the conversations with our, and the ideas come up, and the farmer caller came onto our program, and we had a few, and Unduku then chased after it. Even I was thinking it because me and my wife, but Unduku said, but I caller, how do we go about doing this? And that's basically how the idea came about. So basically, in what we're doing, we find solutions, and we let's key into that. And there's this opportunity to actually do something to empower us and to get us out of the mess that we're in at the moment. So we got the seed bank project coming up. We need funds for this. We definitely need funds for this. And I know that not everybody is going to put money into it, but there's always ways you can help us. But we're reaching out to you. We're probably going to put some stuff in the new year. We also got stuff coming up. We got a virtual conference coming up as well. Are we, Indico?
Yes, we do.
We're going to be talking about that as well. But yeah, so the first project that we have that we think is the most important was basically to protect our seeds.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the key one at the moment.
And just to add to Oladele's, speaking of the seed, the agro-tourism project that we have with the seed bank and all that, it's not going to be just asking for money. I mean, we will ask for it if you have it to give, but it will also be an opportunity for you to invest in a space where you can, if you're tired of the New York life, if you're tired of whatever busy, toxic city life that you are in, you can take a week off and go, or a few weeks off and go to Nigeria, to Oyo State, and just be on the earth, be in the field, be with the soil, and just be in a place where the air is cleaner. Just get away from it all. So we will put out the details when we are ready. Again, so here's something I'm going to say quickly. Like I said, we're going to be detouring, but still coming back. For those of you who've been following me, you know that I had struggles this year. I lost my job last year. I was in a really bad financial place to the point where I lost my home. I reached out to a bunch of you. We did a GoFundMe, and some of you helped. I thank you all. Thank you all. If not for all of you who've helped me so far, and Oladile.
So good, sis. So good. You're strong. You're stronger for it, sis.
Yes, I am. The other day, I was walking with a friend. It's really cold now in the US. I mean, today we have a few good days, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for being human and having emotion, right?
You're allowed to be emotional.
But give me a minute. So we were walking. It was brutally cold, and we had come from the train, and I'm like, we're just walking, like the wind, the cold is hitting you. And this is by Newark Penn Station. And on the street, y'all, on the cold stone, are our brothers and sisters sleeping in the cold. And as much as I was feeling, like, as much as everything that I've gone through, losing my home, not being with my children all the time when I want to, in that moment, I felt blessed that I have friends who have supported me so far. So, y'all, if nothing else, in order to be there for each other, and I'll share a story too to talk about this. In order for us to be there for each other, there's so much pain going on in our community, so much unnecessary pain going on in our community. If the Black people in the place of my employment where I was had stood up by me, we were given the responsibility of participating in DEI in my former place of employment. And it was told to us, this is the mission. And this is what the head of the organization is standing by. Let's do this. But as you all know, those of you who are working in DEI, these white folk talk a good game, but they don't live up to it, right?
Never walk the walk. They talk the
they
talk.
they talk a good game. They wanna, these white liberals, and like Malcolm said, they're the worst of the worst. Like, it's better the racist you know than a white liberal, because they talk a good game, but they're still racist to the core. So we were pushing DEI, and in order to push DEI in this space that is very racist, grounded on racist policies, literally this place is this, like, if you look for racist organization, that place's name should pop up right under that in the dictionary. And so in order to confront white supremacy, you realize you have to call people, white man, white woman. Just doing that is already offending them. And they retaliated, and they retaliated. They retaliated to the point, and I'm not one who is giving up, right? You will retaliate, but I'll keep pushing. And so it got to the point where they realized who they were dealing with, and they just decided to fire me. So that's why. But if I wasn't alone, because in that experience, throughout 3 years of pushing this organization, and my Black colleagues turning against me, standing with the white people and making it even worse. If my Black colleagues had stood with me because I was fighting for them, if they had stood with me, it would have been a different story. If all Black people in that organization stand together in the way that I was talking, that organization is going to change. I guarantee 100%. Either they're going to fire all those Black people and they're going to be in deep shit with the community, or they're going to have to change something. Even if it's like a small token, they will have to change something. So this is what unity is about. And we have to stop this bullshit of, I have to take care of my family. I'm not going to lose my check. Oh, I need this for it. I need the job. I need that. While your brothers and sisters are suffering, while people in Congo continue to die. So we must unify in the uncomfortable that is going to get us to the comfortable. And I always talk about the Mara River and the Great Migration, where the animals, knowing very well that there are crocodiles in that river, always cross because they know they're going to die if they don't get to the food. So we need to start seeing our lives as that, because we are dying on this side of the Mara River. We are dying, and we need to get to the other side of the Mara River so that we can live. And despite the crocodiles in the Mara River, we must cross. So despite them killing us, despite them imprisoning us, despite them maligning us, right? Because it's going to come out that Nduko has slept with 500 men. Nduko does this. Nduko will do what she wants to do in her personal life. Ain't no white man's business what I do in my personal life. If I want to hang out from the ceiling and do whatever I want, I'm going to do that. But that does not stop me from being the community member that you all appreciate. That does not stop me from going to the garden and growing food that is going to support our people. Like, we all have to come to each other's support. And that is missing in our community. And I have to say again to the UNIA, I applaud you. At the event yesterday, a homeless woman walked in, drunk as crazy drunk, and she was cursing up a storm in the place. But the women in that space showed her love. They sat her down, they gave her water, they gave her food. Every now and then she'd burst out in some ridiculous thing, and they still gave her love. Like, they held her there for more than an hour, people, while she was being who she was being, fully drunk. And it was a family event with children and everything. And I had to ask one of the men, why didn't you guys kick her out? And he said, I had started walking her out, but the sisters brought her back in because we wanted to show kindness to one of us. And this is what Black love means. It's not just talking about it. We show kindness to even the worst of us. But there's a point, right? Because she had to be walked out eventually because she was just too much. But this is what we're talking about. There's a point where you have to realize, yes, okay, we've given you enough love, brother. You're not moving, or sister, but we're going to hold you down as long as you can work with us. And this is where we need to get. So I have to say that as we continue to talk about the lessons learned this year and how we're going to move forward. We have to change. My brother, go on. I take a break.
Yeah, I'm just going to back off what you're saying. And the word unity is the key. Because as long as we stay divided, guys, as long as we stay divided, like Unduku said, in that moment where we need to unite and fight the scourge that's messing us up, we always found one thing. And we would rather go defend what we chase in our careers or whatever, but fight for the commonality of all our people. And this is basically why we're let down. And let me put it this way: the systems have been built to keep us divided. The systems have been built. The education system has been built to keep us divided. The religion has been built to keep us divided. The politics has been built to keep us divided. So there's always going to be division one way or the other. But if you look beyond everything that's been built to go to this space and start thinking, you know what can actually bind us together is humanity. It's compassion. It's basically all of us. All we are trying to do is basically live our lives in this world and not be messed up. That's all we want. And if we cannot think that way and build together, because we Africans in the diaspora and on the continent, this is the biggest missing link that will ever ban, and this is the diaspora and Africa coming together. If we can do that work, and this is basically what my organization is about, because I have a lot of diaspora brothers who reach out to me a lot. I'm not so deep into the African space, but you know what? I'm going to be in the African space anyway, so I know that's going to be built. But what we need to do is get our diaspora brothers who don't want to come home, or those who want to come home, show them love in Africa. Let's show them what can be done. I'm going to say this, guys. We need investments. The investments we need are not the Caucasian investments. It's not the Russians, not the Chinese. We need African investments in Africa. The investment that's going to stay there, that's going to build community. That's the kind of investments we want. When people are talking about foreign investments, for me, foreign companies can go, if they can kick them all out of Africa today, they're more than welcome. We don't need them. What I say is, without the crap, we will survive. Mm-hmm. We existed before they were there. We're going to exist when they're gone, if we can kick them out. Mm-hmm. We have basically everything we need. All we need is our human capital and our brains to develop the systems that's going to work for us, because everything that we have embraced in Africa right now is basically not fulfilling or manifesting the lives of African people. It's basically taking us away from where we need to be. So the key word, and I'm tapping into what Nduku say, for me this year, the key word for me is unity. And everything we say, everything we do, we're going to be tapping into that word unity. Let's unify. Guys, we need to build trust. This is something that we haven't done. And to build trust, we need to do the work. It's not easy. Let me put it this way, guys. The white people have done untold evil to you over 500 years and still count, and they're still doing it. But I find that my brothers and sisters find it easy to trust people who've deceived and raped and killed you than their own people. Make it make sense. And they would say black people that. But whatever my brother has done to me, you can never equate it to what the Caucasians have done to you. There's no comparison. Mm-hmm. So why don't we take the effort to actually build the trust amongst ourselves? That's what we need to do. That's basically it. People are going to let you down. Yeah, so what? You've been let down for 500 years.
No, hold them accountable. Let's start communicating. Hold them accountable.
That's the word, the accountability and responsibility comes in as well. That's one thing we rather pray the responsibility away. We rather pray the accountability away and actually doing the work to actually get people accountable. Because the moment they know that you're going to make accountable, they will show up. And this is what eldership means. And I'm tapping into Ila Anderson here. He talks about eldership. And eldership is responsibility. And in African spirituality, basically elders are held up there that they have to be responsible for something, and they can't afford to let down, because they go through rites of passage to get them to where they need to get to. So they know they cannot afford to let you down. And this is what we Africans now start learning, that, once you get to a particular level, there's responsibility and accountability. We need to respond accountable for the people below us who are coming up. Guys, unity is the key word, but what we need to do is basically learn to build the trust amongst ourselves. Let's start doing it, because I'm not even sorry. Let me stop saying sorry. Mm-hmm. The Caucasian systems are not going to help us. I say that categorically and emphatically. The Caucasian systems are not going to ever salvage Africans. You can build all the houses, build all the roads, build everything, get all the ostentatious and materialistic things you're going to get, but your full manifestation, your full Africanness is not in that. because he will never feel happy. You can get all the wealth in the world, but if there's no community, if you don't build your own people up, it means nothing. It means nothing. And this is the work we're doing. It's not easy. We all go through challenges. I've been through challenges. The Unduku talks about how challenges. Have had mine. I'm hanging on to doing particular things I don't want to do at the moment. Obviously, just get myself ready to
And
where I
he
need to be
pisses
at.
me off every time he tells me he's doing them. So, but anyway.
But basically, you have to take your time to get yourself ready to where you need to get to. But we all have to make the sacrifice to get there. And once you get there, it's not going to be easy anyway, because I still have to deal with my own people. I'm still going to have to be the challenges, but I can never give up on my own people. And that's something I've learned. Despite all what they do, I will never give up my own people. I will never turn my back on my own people. I rather do the work to build the trust and educate our people to make them understand that this is about responsibility and accountability to ourselves. I'd rather do that work than waste my time with the European systems.
I agree.
And this is basically where we need to get to, guys.
So I want to mention Dr. Kelly Kirksey in the chat. She said her purpose. And Dr. Kirksey, just check my last comment in the chat so that we can confirm if that's your website and let the people know where they can find you. But she said her purpose is to support and share what she can to uplift. So yes, and she gave her email there. And this is one thing, and I'm assuming this is what she does. I haven't yet. I'm just learning about Dr. Kirksey, but I'm assuming mental wellness is one of the things that she does. So when I was looking for a therapist, because I said this to you all before, as a Black person, you have no business having a white person as a therapist. I'm just going to be plain and simple about that. I don't care if you call me racist, discriminatory, you can go ahead. I don't care if the federal government right now sues me for being discriminatory. I don't give a shit. This is just logic. It is true. And I'm not saying it to be arrogant that I don't give a shit. I really don't care what the white law says about what I'm about to say. I truly do not care what the white law says about it. If you are a Black person, okay, thank you. So she has given her link, her website is this. Oh yes, it is the same website. Yes, so she is Creative Wellness Solutions. Reach out to her. And eventually Nsi Ya Ubuntu and the Imagine Al-Keblan will have pages with different wellness, Black wellness people that you can reach out to, because it is very, very important for you as a Black person to have a Black therapist. Do not have a white therapist. They will not be able to relate to the racism, to the epigenetics, the trauma that is transferred through generations. They can never, ever, ever, no matter how much reading they do, relate enough to be equipped to give you the guidance you need and support that you need. So it's just as plain and simple as that. And whoever wants to sue me and that can shove it up where the sun don't shine, because it is just as plain and simple as that. It has nothing to do with racism or anything. It has everything to do with, if you're going to be talking to someone about what's going on in your head that is based on a certain experience, that person better very well have gone through the same experience, understand it, know what it is to get over it. So this is just how simple it is, right? You as a Black person has no business getting a Caucasian, an Indian, a Chinese, an Arab as a therapist. None whatsoever. Because you're going to put yourself, I'm telling you, you're going to put yourself in a deeper hole, especially if it's a white person. Because they're going to trigger you. They're going to say something that will trigger you. They're going to react in a way that is not fulfilling in the way that you need to be addressed when you're dealing with whatever mental challenges. Because everything you go through as a Black person, whether you're a Black person who wants to accommodate the system or not, is related to racism. Every single thing. Whether you're a Black person who's on the continent who doesn't understand it or not, everything, every challenge you go through is related to racism. Every single one of them. So it is important that we speak these truths. It is important that we understand these truths, and it is important that we move grounded on these truths. So I'm glad Dr. Kelly has put herself out there. We request more. And by the way, can't just be any Black therapist, because you're not going to a coon to ask for therapy, because a coon is going to be showing up Black but acting white. And there you're digging yourself again, you're putting yourself in a worse mental situation. I'm not kidding. Like, we have to be honest with each other. It can't be a Black person who's accommodating whiteness and white supremacy, the false notion of white supremacy. It has to be a Black person who understands that that's a false notion, and they're grounded in Blackness and Afrocentrism. So thank you, Dr. Kelly, for that. So you all see her website, it's there, and she shared her email as well. Those of you who need support, reach out, and trust me, we all need support. None of us doesn't need support. If you're Black, you need mental wellness. Brother Oladele. Oh, I was going to say something, Oladele, as you were talking about the diaspora moving to Africa to invest. Yes, embrace our brothers and sisters, because that's their home. Yeah, that's their home. Wherever they decide to land, because they cannot, some of them cannot figure out where they came from, they will land. And as long as they're doing good in the community. So embrace them. Because my brother Oladele are going to be coming for you if you're not embracing them. You're going to be our enemy, and we'll be embracing them. So I'm just saying this is how we are moving so far. But to our brothers and sisters coming from the diaspora, this is the word for you. Do not bring harmful Western practices to the continent. Do not bring harmful Western practices to our motherland. This sleeping around with Black women on the continent, I'm going to Africa to sleep around with these beautiful women. I've never seen beautiful women like these. I've never seen. That must stop.
Yeah.
Must stop. If you decide to engage with an African woman, wherever they may be, a Black woman, engage respectfully.
Respect.
Do not engage with them to sleep with them and throw them away. Enough of that nonsense. Enough of it. If you're too thirsty sexually, go and jerk off. You have lotion.
I'm gonna add this.
Hold on, brother. Yeah. Let me just let this one out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There are other ways to pleasure yourself sexually. Go do that. But do not put your men's part in our women if you're not willing to commit to caring for that woman. Enough of this. Honestly, this is the other thing that we must talk about. If you as a Black man are going to move with a Black woman, do it in a responsible way. Care for her. If it's temporary, if your intention is temporary, let her know that that is your intention before you engage with her, so that she can make an informed decision. Oh, we're just doing this temporary. Great. I'm thirsty too. I need to be quenched, my thirst. So let's get this done. We're good. Goodbye, brother. I wish you all the best. So that you're both, that respect takes away. No, I'm serious. It takes away that toxic engagement of conception. Brother, speak on it, because I see you're
no, wait, I was gonna say, and this is my respect, and I've said this before. A woman is your mother. A woman is your mother. When you see a woman, see your mother. So if you disrespect a woman, that means you disrespect your mother. Would you disrespect your mother? No.
Some people do.
That's a sad thing. I know some people do. But if you can disrespect your mother, then that's on you. But a woman, that incubator, the birthing. And I'm going to say this, Africans, I think we're kind of perverted in our thoughts. We think we are the head of the woman. How can you be someone that gave birth to you?
Right.
A woman that gave birth to you, and then they tell you you're ahead of a woman. Please make that make sense. The perversion is so deep that they've made everything patriarchal, that they lord it over the woman. How can you, a woman that gave birth to you, telling me that you're above her? Make your logical thinking, make it make sense, boss. This is basically what the path decolonization we need to do. So, guys, if you see a woman, see them as a queen, see them as your mother, treat them with respect.
Indeed.
See them as your sisters. Think about it. What you're doing to a woman, would you do that to your sister? Would you do that to your mother? And I'm a man, and I loathe and I cannot stand when men disrespect women. I just can't. I'm one of those guys, I worship the land that a woman is on, man, because I respect women for who they are. They are the foundation. Where the woman sees what you men don't see, because they birth the earth. The intuition is so natural that if you don't respect a woman, you mess yourself up. That's how important a woman is to me. That's how I respect my wife. I will never do anything if she doesn't agree to it, because I know she sees what I don't see. So, guys, you need to learn You know, this is a man telling you this, man. You know, I've lived. You know, I'm telling you this. Do not mess up a woman because it's gonna come back to haunt you, man. It will. Anyway, I just had to, because Indica was saying that, and
Asante.
I had to get in there, man, because you know, it bothers me when I see how people mess up. I've got 2 daughters, man, and any man that messes up, my God help that person, man.
Yeah. And the thing I will say too, because now we are speaking about family, like we said, we're going to be all over the place. These are experiences that are coming in our minds that we've had this year, and then how are we going to move forward, right? It's not the men who are at fault for dysfunction in our family. It's not the women who are at fault for the dysfunction in our family. It's not the children who are at fault for the dysfunction in our family. It's not the elders who are at fault. It is all of us. All of us.
Yeah.
The women, the men, the children, and the elders. We're all at fault for the dysfunction in our families. We have allowed it, right? We have allowed it. We have shut our eyes to it. We have succumbed to the outside pressures. Yes, as powerful as they may be, we have succumbed to them. But we can do better. We can stand up against those outside pressures, and we have to move as a unit, right? As a community, the women, the men, the children, the elders, together. We must. So the solutions must be found together, and we'll come together, talk about what is affecting all of us, and then separately as well, the men speak about what is affecting them individually as men, because they need their space alone to talk about that and how they can engage with us. And the women will gather alone as well in how we can, all centered on how we can serve our community and heal it.
It's community. Right? So
and this one Western thing of over sexualizing our bodies must stop, right? This one Western thing of devaluing sexual engagement must stop. Sexual engagement should be something that you don't walk away from regretfully. It really should. It should be something that you walk away feeling pleased and knowing that that is one other on your, that is, it should never give you regret. Never. And so we have to figure out how we are going to get to a place where this is how we are moving. And that's our yeah, that's a necessary one. I saw someone else had shared quickly, Oladile. Oh yes, Dada Nokolunga is asking, I had talked about protests not being something that I support. So it's a very nuanced issue. Like I said, protests do put the pressure on the government, but especially given the case now in Kenya, we have just too much. You're weighing your pros and cons. The cons on protests are just way too much. And then we know that they are a part of the system. The system has intentionally put protests in to as a pacifier, right? Yeah, as a pacifier. So we feel like we're doing something, but we're really not doing something, because it's really not getting nowhere. It's not bringing the change that needs to come. Yeah. And unfortunately, also, especially in the case of Kenya, the people who are protesting are my brothers and sisters in Kenya, give me grace. Understand where I'm coming from. Let's just, first of all, disclaimer, I'm coming from love, right? I love you all, like, deeply. But I must tell you this. You're not informed. You're not organized. You're not informed. You are attacking everything but the cause of the problem. Yeah. And I have said this in many of your spaces, and you know I'm going to say this again. Imperialism and capitalism is the reason where you are. Doesn't matter what it is, abductions, doesn't matter what it is, imperialism, corruption, imperialism, capitalism, deaths of women, men killing women, imperialism, capitalism. So if you're not on those streets addressing those two things, please stay home. If you're out there talking about Ruto must go, please stay home, because there's going to come another Ruto and another Ruto and another Ruto, as Kenyan history has shown. Yeah. And as I speak of this, I must, because now I'm tired of the many people I meet who praise Jomo Kenyatta and he's not praiseworthy. So let's take a minute to talk about this. And I feel bad I did not bring my book, The Kenyan Freedom Struggle, The Dedan Kimathi Papers. That is a book that you all should get if you can. The Kenyan Freedom Struggle, I will put it in the chat in a minute, The Dedan Kimathi Papers. Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya, to be very clear, Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya, is not someone to uphold in community. If you're grounded in African ways, you know what I'm talking about. When ancestors have not contributed to service, to serving the community, they're not revered. Their names are not even mentioned. This is what, and their family has to repair the harm that that ancestor caused in order for them to be revered. So Jomo Kenyatta is not someone to be revered. So this is a message to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Stop naming your children Jomo or Kenyatta. He is not, because you don't know what energy you're bringing to them. He is not a person to be revered. All right, Nduku, why do you say this? Jomo Kenyatta was at one point a brother to be revered, but he, thank you, Nokolonga, that is the book, Kenya's Freedom Struggle, the Dedan Kimathi Papers. Find it if you can. He betrayed the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, otherwise known as the Mau Mau. He betrayed them. And his family since has become a land-grabbing family. So the Kenyatta family has grabbed a lot of land that is not theirs in Kenya. Why would we uphold that? And right after, I always mess up this general's name. Ooh, I think is Bamyungi. Oh yeah, I'm gonna look it up. But he's in the book. But one of the generals in the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, after Kenya gets its supposed independence, goes back into the woods. At this point, Dedan Kimathi has been killed. Bamyungi. And he says, General Bamyungi, please correct me if I'm getting the name wrong. It's somewhere around there. We have not gotten what we were fighting for. So we're going back to the woods to fight, to continue the fighting. And Jomo Kenyatta organizes his troops and they go in and kill them. So why would you call that a freedom fighter? Like just that story by itself, which is factual, why would you revere him, right? If he truly was a freedom fighter, why would he kill Bamyungi and the other men who went to the forest to continue the fight? Because they hadn't gotten their land back. That is what they were. The Kenya Land and Freedom Army. They didn't have their land back. They didn't have freedom yet. Because at the point, there's still people in prisons who've been arrested by the British government. So they still, like in just that simple way, they still don't have their freedom. Kenyans are not writing their own constitution. That's not freedom. So again, moving forward, those of you who've heard me speak, Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya, was not and is not someone to be remembered as a revolutionary. He, for whatever reasons, and I can be asked to give grace, but I'm not going to give grace because he knew better. He had come to London and hung out with Walter Rodney, and like he had hung out with people who he should have known better, or at least known of them, right? He had been with the revolutionaries. He understood exactly what the white man was about. He's written a book that shows you he understood exactly what the white man is about. Yeah. But in order to get certain things, he said, okay, white man, we're going to do this.
That's always the case. Right? We always sell out in the end.
Let's tone it down and hard. Right? Yeah. And you're right, white man. I'm going to make sure that these are the black brothers of mine who are too gung-ho are not going to mess with you. So that's who Kenyatta was. So just an FYI, my brother.
Yeah. Guys, going forward, we need to talk solutions. Yes. Yeah. We talked about the challenges all the time, but we need to talk solutions. I've got a few things written down there, and I'll say we need to embrace our cultural identity and pride. Okay, we need to embrace our cultural identity as Africans. They told you that your ancestors are demonic. They told you that your ancestors are demonic. And we believe that. Malcolm X said it. Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate yourself?
He also said, which you can combine, brother, if you hate the roots of a tree, you hate the tree, right? Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Imagine if you hate the roots of the tree, you hate a tree. So that means your cultural identity, that means you hate yourself. And that's basically why a lot of our sisters, I'm sorry, we want to be Caucasian, we put all the fake up on, you know, put all the things on. I'm sorry, I've go there because I'm Afrocentric. When you move away from your identity and your culture, you're basically hating on yourself. So in the process of finding solutions, this is the things that we people need to start looking at. We need to basically take off everything that's Caucasian about us. It's not easy. Everything that's coconut about us, we need to. Anything that's Oreo about us, we need to take it off. We need to embrace our culture identity with pride. When you have that sound foundation of knowing who you are, it basically gives the foundation to build upwards. It's very important because, guys, African culture is so enriched. It's so, you can see how they're trying to copy everything. Everything about us, they copy. Everything they're doing is basically copied. It's basically plagiarized. And you, the owner of the culture, are trying to run away from who you are. When those who see you want to be you, you can see people are putting the fake bums, fake everything on. They're trying to, the fake lips. That's because the melanin in us, guys. You know how enriching, how powerful that is. That's your identity. Why are you running away from yourself? So, in terms of solutions, that's number one: culture, identity, and pride. We need to bring it back. For those, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to like me saying this. For those of you who put chemicals on your hair, that's your antenna. That feeds communication in your body. The moment you put the chemicals on it, it basically dissociates you. Your spirit goes away. The Chris that gave you that hair knew the reason why he gave it to you, because it's the antenna that senses things around you. Now you put the chemicals in it. Your sixth sense is basically all over the place. Everything that is us has an essence, has a meaning. But we're embracing things, like I said before, destruction. White people are. That's who they are. Cultural identity, number one. We need to embrace our intellectual independence. Guys, our knowledge systems are basically all around the world. I was reading something not long ago about Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels that you see today, that was copied.
You're talking about the liquor guy?
The liquor guy. That was basically our African brother who delivered in Jamaica.
Yes,
they basically copied that. I was reading about that a few days ago. We have this intellectual capacity to do, if you look, even looking at patents all over the world, discoveries, inventions, there's so many. I haven't got a time here, but if you go look, you will see how much inventions that we've created. Intellectually, guys, that's one of the reasons why we're being suppressed, because they know once we elevate ourselves and be where we need to be, they have no chance. So basically, they are doing everything to keep you down. So guys, we need to start thinking, you know what? Why are they trying to keep us down? Why are they attacking us so much? Why the attack? Because I look at it, I don't know if you saw Nduku, the guy that got killed in the prison.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw. I'm trying very much not to pay attention but go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
This guy's in the prison. You've already got him. It's basically it's there, but for people to actually then go as far as hitting until he dies. So why the hatred? Why are they holding you back? That's because they know what you don't know.
But instead of asking that question, the way we need to move as a community is those officers should not see another day on this earth. I'm sorry. I'm like again, this is I know my talk is dangerous. I get that. But we're talking logic. Why should those officers who did that see another day on this earth if we're going to hold our lives with value? If we're not going to accept the devaluing of our lives.
And this is where we need to build community to hold people accountable. If they see a lot of us in a block, remember these guys, the Black Panthers, how they showed up.
I'm glad you mentioned them because we'll talk about them quickly. But
yeah,
go ahead,
how the Black Panthers told us in America, when they saw them, they sit back. And then they went to the prison to get one. I read one of the books where they're trying to get one of their brothers. The moment they saw them, they shivered. And this is Black power. But the thing is, they know our capabilities, but we do not know how capable we are because our thinking has been distorted. Guys, intellectual independence, we need to get back there. We are more than capable. I don't give a F about the white people. I don't care. Whatever they do, I don't care. People send me so much shit about them. I don't care. All I care is, what do we do? Where do we go from where we are? Because once we embrace ourselves and we start building, what they do it means nothing. It's insignificant. Because the moment we start flying, there we can push them aside because we everything that we need, we got. So intellectual independence is very important, guys. Then one of the key ones is economic empowerment. We own the resources, we don't own the wealth. We own the resources, we don't own the wealth. Make it make sense. And we need to use what we have, our resources, to build ourselves up. Key. Where we are right now, let's go into history. Every structure, every economic policy, everything that you have in Africa today is European. It's not African. Then we have gatekeepers in place who uphold the colonial system. So consequently, Africa is poor by Western standards because of capitalism. These systems need to be pushed back. Before capitalism came into Africa, Africa never lacked nothing. We had everything we needed, and we're self-sufficient, and we sustained everything the way it should be. Now they put those systems in place, like what's his name, Chinua Achebe Wishe. Things fall apart. The white man came. We thought they were stupid. We embraced them, and before you know it, they put a stake in the middle of us, and we disengaged. Just to put it that in those terms. So, guys, economic and empower. We need to actually own our resources. We need to start adding value to our resources. We need to get to the level where we do not allow these people to take our resources out of the continent anymore. Where if we don't build capacity and value, it's not going nowhere. Thankfully, Burkina Faso is doing it already. You can see what they're doing to Mali. You can see what they're doing to Niger. These are the kind of trends that we need to be following. There's only 3 out of 54 countries who are building economic capacity. The others are not doing it. So for me, we're nowhere near where we're supposed to be. So economic empowerment is so soon. We're going to have because I've been looking for an economist who's going to talk to me about economics, African economics.
You know what? Actually, let's not even look at an economist. Let's go to the brothers at the UNIA who are doing what they're doing, and let's invite them because they
I've
had
got somebody. He's African anyway, and he's an African guy. He knows exactly what he's talking about, man.
Yeah, but we are going to have a session either on Kumbukeni or on collaboration with our brother at the Imagine Al-Kebulan with the UNIA, so that they can talk about their economic liberation program that they have. Yeah.
In the system we're in right now, it's all about economical empowerment, and if you don't control your economy, that's why we're being messed up. That's why we are being messed up. So we need to control our economy, we need to control our wealth. Claude Anderson wrote the book, The Powernomics. If you read that book, it's talking about how we Africans need to actually own everything that's ours. We need to build our community. We need to own our own supermarkets, own our own hospitals, own our own schools. Basically, we need to own our things. When we control our things, then they can't sell no rubbish to us. All the rubbish food that we're using to kill people, it won't be there. So economical empowerment is one of the key things, that we need to embrace. Okay, we are guys, we are just a drop in the ocean. There's a lot of us who can do this, and this is why we're talking about community. Let's build that. Once we build that trust, then we build community. Then we can build solutions, because we need these solutions, guys. I know it's hard work, but we have to create legacy. For me, at my age, all I'm looking at is legacy. What is my grandchildren going to be thinking about is the granddad when he passes away? What are they going to think about me? What would you say I did? I don't want them to say he lived and died, and then on the tombstone, and then they bring flowers every so often. I want my legacy to move on. I can pass it on, and they can be proud to move it forward. This is the kind of legacy we need to start building, guys. So economic empowerment. Political autonomy. Sorry, Nduku, if you want to interject.
Yes, please. Before we go to that, but yes, I guess, and you can tie political autonomy to this issue. We had, or at least I wanted us to talk, and I am going to talk about it. I wanted us to talk about Project 2025, the United States Conservative Party's what are they calling it? The mandate for the U.S. president or something like that. But I'm going to read from it, and then we're going to talk about it. And I will explain why we chose to do this. But these are not many issues, but two. That China is a totalitarian enemy of the United States, not a strategic partner or fair competitor. And two, that America's elites have betrayed the American people. The solution to all of the above problems is not to tinker with this or that government program, to replace this or that bureaucrat. These are problems not of technocratic efficiency, but of national sovereignty and constitutional governance. We solve them not by trimming and reshaping the leaves, but by ripping out the trees, root and branch.
Wow.
International organizations and agreements that erode our constitution, rule of law, or popular sovereignty should not be reformed. They should be abandoned. Illegal immigration should be ended, not mitigated. The border sealed, not reprioritized. Economic engagement with China should be ended, not rethought. Our manufacturing and industrial base should be restored, not allowed to deteriorate further. Confucius Institute's TikTok and any other arm of Chinese propaganda and espionage should be outlawed, not merely monitored. Universities taking money from the CCP should lose their accreditation, charters, and eligibility for federal funds. The next conservative president should go beyond merely defending America's energy interests, but go on offense, asserting them around the world. America's vast reserves of oil and natural gas are not an environmental problem, they are the lifeblood of economic growth. American dominance of the global energy market would be a good thing for the world, and more importantly, we the people. That's for we the people. It's not just about jobs, even though unleashing domestic energy production would create millions of them. It's not just about higher wages for workers who didn't go to college, though they would receive the raises they have missed out of for 2 generations. Full spectrum strategic energy dominance would facilitate the reinvigoration of America's entire industrial and manufacturing sector as we disentangle our economy from China. Globally, it would rebalance power away from the dangerous regimes of Russia and the Middle East. It would build powerful alliances with fast-growing nations in Africa and provide us the leverage to counter Chinese ambitions in South America and the Pacific. Locally, it would drive billions of dollars of private investment to the communities that have been hammered by globalization since the 1990s. And it would clarify our intentions to Beijing that the next president can ensure that a large part of America's reindustrialization is in the production of the equipment we will need to dissuade future foreign meddling with US vital interests. So I'm going to ask you all, my African brothers and sisters, why then are you worried about how you're going to move? Why then are you worried about kicking the white man out of Africa? Why then are you worried about kicking multinationals out of Africa? Why then are you worried about how they will react when we do that? Why then are you worried about how they will feel? Did you hear in this project where the white United States, white Americans are now saving their culture and the plan that they have to do that? Did you hear them apologizing or seeming apologetic in their statements? It was very certain. End, right? Eradicate. Those are the words they are using. Not let's work within the system. Let's work within the system. You got to work within the system. You're going to learn how to work within the system. No, let's get rid of the system is what they said. And so when I'm out here talking about let's get rid of the system, these white folk, I have to go to the white folk to show you how they behave so that you can understand exactly what it means to save your culture. It is a shame. But here it is. They're not making no apologies. They're not asking no one for permission. They're not reaching out to China, oh, could we talk? No, they're saying, hey, we're about to be eradicated, so let's eradicate before we are eradicated. And this is the reason why we brought Project 2025. My brother, I asked you to read a little bit. You said you read. What did you get from it?
Yeah, what I got from it, basically, it tells us that they are intentional in what they intend to do, and they're not packing punches. They're not even looking outwards. They're looking inwards to find their own solutions. That's basically my summarization of it. So they are basically, they just want to get themselves back to where they used to be, because obviously there's too much infiltration in the economy. Basically, the China influence, the Russian influence. China basically has so much investments in the US Russia has so much investments in the US. They're basically saying, you know what, we're losing ourselves, embracing all these things. How do we get back to our foundational principles to build basically where we used to be? But I know the answer to that is for another day anyway. But we Africans need to think the same way, is what we're trying to say here. They have a plan for what's going to get them from where they are to where they need to be. I know Africa has a 2063 plan, and I was reading about that about a couple of days ago. But we have the plans, but the challenge is we don't implement the plans, because those who are going to implement the plans are compromised with the enemy. So America has their own plans, trying to get themselves back away from China. That's going to be difficult. I know they're trying, but that's going to be a hard one to do, because I can't see it happening, because basically they're just so they're so intertwined in terms of everything they've done. But because I don't really care about what happens to America. I'm sorry, I don't care about what happens. I don't care what happens to China. I don't care what happens to Russia. What I care about is what happens to Africa. How do we Africans build a system that's going to help us empower ourselves? Basically, we need collective empowerment. Everybody is there to basically sleep with Africans. You know, the Russians are coming, the Chinese are there, everybody's there. Even they're talking about their own empowerment, guys. For them to achieve their own empowerment, they still have to infiltrate Africa to get resources to make America great again, is the slogan they use. They're still going to come to Africa to get the resources they need to keep them where they are. So they're still, either way, Africans don't win.
No, yeah, and it's in the project.
Yeah,
their plan to do so is in the project.
Yeah, they're gonna come and they're still gonna come and rape you to make Africa great again.
To make America great again.
Yeah. So what is Africans' plan for Africa? And that's basically the critical thing that we need to. And there's so many people listening. We have our own solutions within ourselves, but the challenge we have faced as Africans, we're too compromised. We're still compromised. We still think that the Western systems are going to liberate us. Guys, after 500 to 600 years of this project, look at where Africa is today.
Yeah.
Poverty, lack. You know, people in my inbox, if you know how many people are desperate for stuff. In Nigeria, there was 3 cities, 3 cities, just this Christmas period. 3 cities where kids died. Almost 47 kids died. Why? Because some charity said, you know what, bring your kids. Let's give them, like, what did they go for? 5,000 naira, which is not even worth 10 cents. Bring your kids, we're going to give you 5,000 naira. And basically, she's been doing this project for years. But obviously, poverty is so bad that people are desperate. You know what they were doing?
Thank you. Go ahead.
You know what they were doing? They were throwing the kids over the fence just to get the money, so they can get the money, so the kids can get in there. In them throwing the kids over the fence, the kids.
So where are they bringing their kids?
There was a place in Oyo State, in Ibadan. Is it
the
former queen? The former queen Oni of Ife, the former queen, basically has a charity where she gives kids like money every year. It's something she does annually. But because poverty has been so bad, people are desperate just for 5,000 naira for them to give their kids.
And so that you all understand, by the way, $1 is 1,000 something naira. So that's less than $5.
Yes, it's nothing.
About $5. So that you all understand what that
in Nigerian
means.
economy, 5,000 naira doesn't feed a kid.
It's around $5.
And this is the desperation in Nigeria right now, where people are willing to throw their kids over the fence for them to be in the queue to get that 5,000 naira. We're talking about it.
And this is another thing about African, and quickly, before we close, we're going to talk about the unity event we have coming up, brother. Let's not forget that, because the time is running out. But this is the thing about African leeches, right? Because they are sucking out of the community. That giving money, paper money, that doesn't help us. And this mentality that we run for it, and we don't realize that it's very temporary, right? They give away money during elections. They give away money, but they don't build homes. They don't build community centers. They don't build cooperatives for farming, right? They don't give that money to build a clinic or renovate a clinic. The other day we were in a Kenyan space, and a brother in Western side of Kenya was talking about how, I forget the name of the place in Luoland, has no Panadol. Remember Panadol, Oladele? Just a simple pain medication. They don't have it in several clinics there. They don't have it. This is the state of our health and in those places, the remote areas. And so that queen, instead of building every year, the money that she gives to individual children that are jumping and fighting to get there, killing each other and dying, being thrown over the fence by their parents because of the desperation, and all it will do is serve them for a day, if anything, instead of her building a community center that will educate them, that instead of building a clinic that is going to provide them healthcare when they need it, health services, this is what they do. And so that's another thing we have to look in our community, those people, and not uphold them, not elect them as we continue to exist in this fake democracy state, right? We don't elect them. You do not elect people like that. The way to choose someone who should be in leadership is see what they have done in their community, right? Including me. What have I done to serve my community? And if you don't see that I have been in service of community, I have no business. I don't care how many PhDs I have earned. I don't care how long I've been in corporate, because this is the argument these Kenyan bourgeois come with on stage. I want to, they're lucky. Oh, this person has experience in politics. I'm like, oh, that actually is a disqualification. Because Kenyan politics, since the so-called independence, has been a politics of exploitation. So the fact that they have experience means that they have been part of an exploitative system. It disqualifies them.
Extractive system, basically.
It is a disqualification.
Yeah.
And let's start again logically thinking about these things. Brother, let's quickly talk about this, unless you have something to say about that.
No.
Conference. Let's talk about that. So the conference is going to be on February 15th and 16th. And we're going to talk about other events. This is the year, as I speak about that, this is the year of Malcolm X's 100th anniversary. So there'll be several events that we'll be promoting and we'll be asking you to join us for. And we're asking you to do in honor of our brother Malcolm X. And I was reminded by brother Ikemba, he does We Charge Colonialism. You all know him. Those who follow us, follow him. In Nubia, those of you who started, that's where I started in my awakening. Follow We Charge Colonialism. You saw me share while I was there. I'm continuing to ask you to follow. But he reminded me, or he informed me that this is also Patrice Lumumba's anniversary year. And Medgar Evers as well. So, and he will do an event in July where this will all be explained, how that is connected. So, but we as organizations, and quickly after we talk, oh my God, I don't know if we, so as I'm talking about this, Oladile, I was thinking about the challenge. I guess we have no time to talk about all the challenges. The one thing we encountered in our community building was ego in our community, in our organizations. Let's quickly talk about that before the Unity Conference, because it's related. We were going to have this Unity Conference with a specific organization. I'm not going to put them on blast right now, but they do need to be put on blast because you all need to leave if you had joined them. I actually am going to put them on blast. State 55. Do not join them. If you had joined them and I told you to, walk away. You can join Nsi Ya Ubuntu. By the way, we are going to start a monthly $5 membership for those who join. I think the things that we provide, the conversations we have, the gatherings we have are worth $5 a month. I think so. So we are going to start doing that for membership for those in the diaspora, and then $1 for those on the continent. And we will provide free for those who cannot. We will figure out how we're going to do that. But a community space. To have a community space, $5 is worth it. But that's a story for another day. But we were supposed to have this conference in December around Kwanzaa and collaborate with State 55 to bring other organizations. And they had asked me because they, I guess, appreciated, or at least they said then, that they appreciate who I am and how I move. They had asked me to coordinate or be one of the coordinators of organizing this event. And I said to them, in order for this event to be successful, or at least according to my experience in the last couple of years, organizations don't want to be told to come and do this because they already have their own plan. So let's say that this is a culmination of organizations. We are all coming together to have a unity conference. But State 55 wanted their name to be on top. right? They did not want to work with everyone. They still wanted to seem like the organization who was hosting, whose name should be on everything. And I was like, nah, let's not do that. But because of ego, they could not put that down and see the important issue of unity being superior to that. The other thing that we all went back and forth on was whether people were going to be called president this, president that, your excellency that. My point was no. We're all comrades. I don't care if you're Arikana Grande or whoever you are, you're going to be called comrade. I am not calling you your excellency. Hell fucking no. Show me what's excellent in you for me to call you your excellency. And so if we are in community to work in community together so that everyone, including those who don't have doctorates, those who don't speak good English, those who haven't gone to school, can contribute and not feel intimidated, put away your doctorate for the day, for the 2 days of conference, and be a comrade.
Yeah,
that's what we had said. And these people were having a hard time with that, putting away their titles. They were having a hard time with that. And the other thing, the last thing, this is you all see how I move. You all see how my brother moves. We're not accommodating neocolonialists. I am not calling Museveni hell no in this fucking act to ask him whether we should gather and be united. Because I know Museveni is working for the imperialists.
He's a gatekeeper.
And guess what our brothers and sisters at State 55 wanted to do? I'm sorry, brothers at State 55. You have caused this for yourself. You dug this hole. I'm sorry. Enough with accommodating nonsense. I said we have to hold each other accountable. If you want me to respect you and not put you on blast in our community, act right. I'm sorry. And so they wanted to invite Kagame. And they wanted to invite Museveni. And this is why we were arguing about president and this, because they wanted them to be and provide VIP and all of that for them. And we're coming together to talk about how we're going to move differently in Africa. Y'all have got to stop with the nonsense. So we're going to have the event on the 15th and the 16th, and we will be all on equal ground. I don't care how much education, how many books you've written, you will be just as the same as someone in Kenya who's never seen a classroom. And on that day, we will be contributing, speaking about the issues that we have and how we're going to move forward. And we will pick 5 things that we are going to focus on, 5 projects that we will support until fruition and move on to the next 5 and next 5, working as a united community of different organizations. So for those of you who are out there, the Uhuru movement, I know y'all, the UNIA, all those organizations, whatever, and listen, and if you are affiliated with the CIA, we will find out. We will find out. And we're not talking to you. So go on and do whatever it is the CIA tells you to do. But that's not the organization we're talking about. All right. So come, join us. This is not about Nsi Ya Ubuntu. This is not about the marginal cable. And this is about us finally doing what we must do, uniting to figure out the problems and how we can resolve them together. My brother.
Yeah, basically, like Nduku said, it's basically we talked about problems. We're gonna disseminate it. We're gonna throw it out there, and then we come to a conclusion. Okay, where do we go from here? Because this is basically the challenge that we're facing as African people. The solutions are there. We talk so much, but we never back it up. So we are gonna say, okay, after the speech, we're gonna break out into groups. We're gonna discuss, and then we come back and say, okay, this is basically what we agreed on, and then we start thinking of how we're gonna implement. Implementation. Because in community we can let's say the lion. How's that proverb go?
I forget.
Spider, when you type a lion, when the spiders type a lion, how do they? Spider can type a lion or something like that. Anyway, when you unite, this is what I'm trying to say. So guys, in unity, we can achieve the unthinkable. We're more than capable of doing this. The enemies know we're more than capable of doing this. It's just we Africans don't believe in ourselves. And what we're trying to say is, guys, let's come together. 15th to 6th of February. It's basically a conference of finding solutions and then
implementing them. Yeah.
And in those solutions, we talk about agriculture, which is the key. We have the food seed bank project in there already. Obviously, we're going to talk about it. Obviously, other people have ideas. We'll embrace it.
Yes.
If we can fit it in, we'll fit it in. We're talking about educational solutions. Yeah, fine. Transformative thinking. We're going to talk about that. I know we have different topics out there that's going to appeal to everybody. But once we
African spirituality, we're going to talk about that. How do we do it?
How do we do African spirituality? Yeah, Mama Kanshile will be talking about that. Yeah, so guys, we save the date is going to go up. We should get that ready for this week, Nduku. I think we should set it out there. We're going to start blasting it over our social pages, so you can start getting yourself mentally and ready for that. And yeah, you're all welcome. Oh no, we're about solutions, guys.
No. Yeah, you must be a WanaUbuntu. So this is not the space for white people. Again, not all spaces. This is not the space for an Arab. This is not the space for an Asian. This is a space for WanaUbuntu. So even those of us who are married to white people or others in different communities, that is the day to leave your spouse at home or on the side. They're not welcome, not because we don't like them, but because this is not a conversation for them. Go on.
Yeah,
brother.
so guys, just save the date, and I'm personally looking forward to that. So hopefully you all too are looking forward to that. But we will be pushing it out there. You know, you're gonna see our flyers and stuff going, and registration and all that. We're gonna need it. So yeah, look forward to that. Okay. Yeah. Anything else, sis?
I guess in ending, the main theme is let's show more brotherly love to each other and sisterly love, right? Yeah. Let's give each other that embrace. Let's be kind to each other and hold me accountable when I'm not to you. But here's the thing. This is me stepping on the bricks. Hold up. If you are unkind, you will receive unkindness. Mama, I gave the story of the UNIA and how they extended kindness to someone who was not being kind. That's not the type of thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about this year, people who've come at me talking about, we're going to go to the courts and report you for doing this because you're breaking the law. In our own community. That type of person. That's who I'm. If you're that type of person, I'm not showing you grace. And actually, I have showed those people grace because I wanted to say, fuck you. Excuse my language. That's what I wanted to say. Go fucking do this. That's what I wanted to say. But I was like, okay, let me just continue dealing with these people. But this is what we're talking. So if you're someone who is constantly bringing bad vibes and breaking up the community, nah, that's not who we're saying let's show love to, because we have to get it right. But if it's someone, the homeless lady, she's intoxicated because she's going through stuff and she's trying to drown that, you understand that is not someone who's intentionally doing what they're doing. So there's a difference. Yes, but the theme is let's give each other more love. Let's be there for each other. If you have more, give to the community. Don't ask for anything in return. After all, you have more than you need, right? So just give it, invest in the community. You hear we have a project. Again, I get it. You've been disappointed by many other projects, but pay attention and see if we're going to hold up to what and if it is, if we do let you down, count it as another loss and keep moving. Like, we spend money in so many other ways that we lose it, that at least giving it into a community where there's potential for it doing something, do that. So again, thank you all. Thank you. The people in Twitter who have grown our community there, Asanteni, thank you so much. Those of you who have shown respect and honor the work that we do, the work that I have done, the work that my brother has done, we thank you so much. And again, the guests who make it easy for us to do what we do, and the ones that we're going to have coming this year, we thank you. We thank you, my brother.
Yeah, guys, we're never resting on our laurels. We're going to keep doing the work. We got a lot more coming, and just watch this space, guys. And please subscribe, follow our channels. It's something we never say enough. Subscribe and follow our channels. We never say it because we're not in the, I'm trying to get my head around it because we're not capitalists in our thinking. But guys, subscribe to our channels, please. Imagine a Kebalan, Kumbukeni. Let's grow our community, man. Let's share the love, because that's all we're giving. Let's share the love. Have a great new year, and we'll see you next year, actually. On Sunday coming up.
Someone just said they want to partner with you and do your social media marketing. The Cultured Corner, reach out to them. Asanteni,
Cultured Corner, I will reach out to you. I will definitely reach out to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
Odigba Kono.
Blessings. Today is Nia, tomorrow is Kuumba, and then we are going to close Kwanzaa with Imani on Wednesday, which is to the other folk New Year's Day. So to you, WanaUbuntu, it will not be New Year's Day, it will be Imani. You ground yourself in faith in your people, faith in your community, faith that we can liberate ourselves, faith that we can unite despite it all. So again, that will be Wednesday. You're not celebrating New Year's Day. You're celebrating the 7th day of Kwanzaa, Imani. Asanteni, kwaherini, kila laheri.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Stay, my brother. Do not disappear.